everyone, this is Moby's Primal, and I am back with round 2 of the Buckeye Battles Warhammer Fantasy Battle Tournament. So many players who watch my channel are going to be pretty familiar with this army that I'm about to face. You may probably even see the inverse battle report from the other player's point of view, because I'm taking on none other than Once Bitten 360's Beastmen army. So this will be our last battle probably ever, as he's moving away from the area where this tournament is held. And of course I've already moved away and I just came back up to visit, but you know, only time will tell. So this scenario is weird. It has players trying to get into the enemy base camp. You can't see it, but I'm doing the air quotes thing every time I say the word base camp. The enemy base camp is basically the little diagonal section on the opposite side of your starting zone, meaning you're supposed to keep the enemy out of your base camp and get your units into his. So anyway, 2,400 points. Let's get it on. Starting on OB's lines, he has 5 Furies, then a Chariot on the side of that wooded hill. Then he has a small unit of Gore led by a level 2 Shaman. Next to them is his big Gore unit led by his BSB that has the +1 Strength banner. Beyond that, he's been changing up the formation for his Minibus to this weird 2x3 formation. It basically allows him to tighten up his leadership bubble. It's not that bad for combat either, since it means that more models have got to fight the Boom Bowl, and he has that, you know, every time I make an armor save, I get to make an extra attack thing. So that's in the center, and then past that are the big unit of Bestigor, who are joined by his level 4 Shaman General. And way on the other end is the other Fury unit. So my right flank has Trebuchet in the corner, Fast Cavalry, and my Knights on either side of that marsh there. Then my Peasant Castle in the middle with my Archers, Pegasus and other Fast Cav sprinkled in, and the final Trebuchet in the other corner. So Beastmen go first, and he basically surges everything forward. He wants to get into combat as quickly as possible so he can avoid getting smushed by Trebuchets or giving me breathing room to set up nice flank charges and stuff like that. And that's about it for Beastmen 1. I don't think there was any magic of significant value, so let's go straight into Heartless turn 1. If you've been watching my battle reports, the last time I played a Beastmen army, I made the mistake of charging a Horde of Gore with my Knight unit and a Peasant unit, which ultimately lost me the game. Now, not this time though. I charged that Horde. They were poking up a little too closely with my Knights. I crossed my fingers and charge in. Meanwhile, my Fast Cavalry bump up in front of the Minotaurs to buy me a turn, whereas the Fast Cav on the other right get a little brave and they charge the Furies to try to save that Trebuchet from getting killed next turn. And then the Trebuchet does shoot. I think it kills like 11 Bestigor, so that's a good way to start up softening that unit. In combat, I lose against the Furies, but we're actually hold, so that's actually nice because that means my Trebuchet won't get killed after all. And then in the center, I kill, if you see by this picture, I kill quite a few Gore, and they only kill 3 Knights in return. He needed 4 to keep me from breaking his Steadfast, and he didn't do it. So his unit breaks, and I kill the BSB and grab a standard on turn 1. Now I restrained pursuit because if I had pursued, I don't think I would have gotten out of the range of that flank charge from the other Gore unit, and I didn't want to take that. So I just reformed, got out of line of sight from that Chariot though, but ready to receive the charge from the Gore herd. And we move on to Beastmen 2. So the Gore do go into the Knights. Meanwhile, the Minotaurs and the Bestigor hit my Fast Cav. And I think what OB was trying to do was, if my Fast Cavalry broke, the Bestigor would put the fleet angle at such an extreme that the Minotaurs would turn and hit my Knights. Except, it's a snowball's chance that those yeomen survive against all those Bestigor and Minotaur attacks. The big unit of Gore did rally, although now they're back down to Strength 3 without their BSB. And additionally, I placed my Pegasus Knights kind of poorly. OB saw an opening and struck on it, charging in the flank with his Furies. I'm not terribly worried. You know, he has a lot of attacks, but my Knights are tough. They have a good armor save, and I do, you know, my ponies are 2 strength 4 attacks apiece and a stomp, so I think I can even things out there. We move into the magic phase, and this Gore unit just got real nasty because that level 2 Shaman transformed into a Chimera, and Delita is actually on the wrong side of the unit to get it with a heroic killing blow. Except that the Chimera jumped out, that Shaman got the spell using a miscast, and the miscast turned out to be a dimensional cascade, which ended up killing off 8 or 9 Gore or something like that. It hit one Knight and didn't even wound it, or I blocked it to ward save, but what's worse is it sucked the Chimera back into the warp no quicker than it appeared. So I'm looking at this like I may have got this game wrapped up in turn 2. In hand-to-hand combat, of course, the Minotaurs and Bestigor easily swat away the fast cavalry, but not before my little guys put 2 wounds on his toughness 5 Shaman General. So in 2 turns, I've killed a BSB, I've wounded the General twice, pseudo-killed the other mage, and grabbed a standard. It's understandable that Obi was getting a bit frustrated with this game at this point, especially when Delita and the Knights took down that Gore unit, ran him down, and caused the chariot nearby to panic. We go into Heartless 2. Yes, everything that's all happened just 2 turns in the game. Heartless 2 time. My Pegasus Knights, I didn't show it, but I beat the crap out of the Furies, and they see a charge in the flank on the Bestigor. You know, you really can't ask for a better setup than this, by the way. My Peasants that the Bestigor overran into, they have the Blessing, and I should be able to get that Mage pretty soon, while blocking a lot of damage with the ward, and the Pegasus are going to add a lot of combat res swing my way. My other peasant unit jumped way out and got into this Gore unit that broke earlier. You know, I feel I have a decent shot now. They're not strength 4, they don't have a standard, they don't have a BSB, and my Knights will be there soon to support them in turn. Let's see. The Trebuchet hits, kills 1 Minotaur, and then during magic phase, I got a curse on the Bestigor unit, so they're -1 hit, and in hand-to-hand, I get slapped around. These Gore unit guys got so many hits. I think he actually won combat despite not having a standard or any combat support. And then what's worse is back in the big center combat, my Pegasus Knights completely whiff. Out of everything that I have, I score 2 wounds, and I actually lose the combat by a bunch. Because the Bestigor beat up my peasants so much. The peasants do stick because they're steadfast, but the Knights flee, and because I lost like 5 by 5, so ouch. On the right, the Furies finally cut down, break my last peasant yeoman, and we slide right into Beastmen turn 3. So not much to do in movement. The chariot rallies, the Furies charge the Trebuchet. Also, the Doombull gets in against the Honor Guard. And hand-to-hand is an absolute slugfest. I'm on the receiving end. I think I lost all 3 combats badly, but stick just barely to bear steadfast, stubborn, or just pure luck. I do think I did kill that level 4 Shaman though with my peasants. So move on to Heartless 3, and I don't want to charge in on the Gore with my Knights because before the Shaman died, he buffed them with a Weisson's Wild form, and I'm afraid I'm going to have another situation where my Pegasus Knights charged and then actually lost combat because the Bestigor beat up on the Peasants. Remember that happened a turn ago? I think that was going to happen exactly the same way. The Gore would beat up my Peasants, and even though I charge in the flank, a couple ranks standard, maybe do a few wounds with the Knights, I would actually lose combat. So instead, I swung all the way around in behind the Gore, hoping for a rear charge next turn. My Pegasus rallied, my archers finally finished off the remaining 2 Furies. I actually think I killed one, and the other guy failed his pan check, and then flew through a tree branch and got whopped. So in hand-to-hand, my Honor Guard are completely wiped out. This is my anchor unit, and he blasted through them in 2 rounds, and now those Minotaurs are +3 Frenzy or whatever it is. And then the Gore beat down and break steadfast and run down my men-at-arms. So the other infantry unit fighting the Bestigor is just barely hanging in there, but it's the tried and true Heartless performance for me where I need 5s to hit, and I hit twice, maybe once, do a single wound out of it, and then I take 6 or 7 wounds or 10 in return. Alright, so Beastmen 4, that Gore unit charges Sam, and I flee. And then the Minotaurs charge Ajora, and I decide I hope to hold. I figure she's dead either way, but this way I think I can control his Minotaur overrun just a little bit better, and maybe get my Knights out of range. And of course she gets schwacked. My peasants are in there still against the Bestigor, miraculously holding on, though still not doing enough damage to the Bestigor to matter. We move on to Heartless 4, and I need some decisive play to turn this game around from something that I thought was a sure thing. My Knights charge the chariot, and it flees, and then I redirect it into the Gore, and Obi thought about this for a second. He thinks, The best action would be to flee, hope to bounce through the archers, and just get out of the way. Take a couple of dangerous terrain checks. Who cares? And that's exactly what happened. You know, he needed a 7, and that's what he rolled. Had he failed that, you know, got a 6 or 5 or something like that, my archers would have charged. Nobody ever expects that, by the way. And push the, you know, those Gore would then have to flee again, push them back towards my knights, and I would have probably been able to easily connect that charge and got out of the way of the Minotaur bus. As it stands, I pretty much have no choice but to take the charge from the Minotaurs, and that's something I know I can't stand up to. In combat, my peasants finally fail against the Bestigor. That unit started at 37 models, the Bestigor did. I killed 10 or 11 with that lucky trebuchet shot in turn 1, so down to 25-ish, and now look at them. There's still 14 guys, so after like 4 rounds, 11 guys, oh man. Alright, so we go into Beastmen 5. The Furies charged Sam, who had rallied from earlier, and then that dang Gore horde rallied, so I can't even get points for that big horde now. The Chariot didn't rally, however, but it didn't take any damage from the dangerous terrain check either, and that's like, it's small potatoes to the real fight, which is the Minotaurs versus the Knights. And these guys are so juiced up from winning all those combats against the Honor Guard, Peasant Yeoman, and my BSB. I don't think I have a chance, and I don't. So the Doom Bull declared challenge. Delita answered it, just in a vain effort to try and heroically end that monster's killing spree. But he got whomped before he could even move because the Minotaur is, or the Doom Bull is always strike first. I think he did like 6 wounds on my general. So I did stick because I was steadfast. Heartless turn 5, we basically go straight into combat after I shuffle my archers around a bit, and the Minotaurs pretty much finish off the Knights. And then turn 6 is pretty uneventful. Minotaurs fail a charge to kill the Pegasus Knights, and the Bestigor and Furies kill off another archer unit and Sam respectively. And at the end of the game, the board looks like this. Absolute wow factor. You know, I thought this game was just about wrapped up in turn 1 when I broke that horde. And then when that mage went kersplat, I thought there was no chance for OB to recover. But this just goes to show that sometimes it's worth playing a game out, no matter how hopeless the situation looks. I don't think either of us made any mistakes. It was just dice that were apparently on a luck and unluck seesaw. Anyways, you know, that's the report. Hope you watch OB's report to see the inverse side of this battle, and look forward to seeing you around 3.